Welcome back to the IE427 garage, everybody. Today, we're going to welcome a new project into the shop. All right, most of you have probably seen this project in the shop, in the background of some of the shots that we've been doing for the 25th anniversary car. This car arrived a couple of months ago. The owners of this car live in Texas. They drove this project out. They actually trailered this project out from Texas, along with some help from one of our buddies, Joel, who also lives in Texas. Joel was coming out from Texas to pick up a soft top or a bimini top that we were storing for him here in California. And so since he was driving out anyways, he graciously provided transport service for about half of the boxes for this Mk4 kit from Texas. And so that was really a great help to both us, because we didn't have to worry about the logistics of getting all those other parts out here, and for the owner of the actual Mk4. So thank you again, Joel. We really do appreciate it. So what I wanted to do was give all of you a quick walk around of the car before we go ahead and pull that Gen 2 Coyote engine and the Tremec transmission out of it. And yes, we do have to pull it out. The owner found that it was going to be much easier to transport this with the engine in the chassis. So in a last minute hurried attempt, which he did succeed at with some help from his sons, I do believe, they dropped the engine and the transmission into the car. It's basically just resting in there. You can see the back. There's a tie strap, like a ratchet strap, holding the back of the transmission up in the air. And it's been like that since we received it here. And there's nothing wrong with it being in like that. It's been just fine. We have been moving it back and forth in the shop as we need to, accommodate space to work on the 25th anniversary car. We don't get in a habit of naming customer cars around here, but sometimes they come with them. Other times they earn them. The 25th anniversary car came with a name. That name is Pauline. We've referred to it here and there throughout the build process. The owner gave the car that name. That was a tribute to his grandmother, who he was very close with. She raised him as a child, and so this was a tribute to her, and a very nice, fitting gesture to a great woman. This Texas car has already earned a name, and I don't know if the owner of this car is going to appreciate this or not, but when he refers to the 25th anniversary car, Pauline, he keeps calling it, to me anyways, he keeps calling it the prototype. He sees that as the prototype to his build. And so it's just stuck. The dually here has earned its name. It had other names in the past, but everybody keeps calling it my workbench because I refer to it as the F350 workbench. And so the name stuck. Same thing with this one. We're going to continue to call this one the prototype. Now, I may refer to it as the Texas car, but the name that it has been given here in the shop is the prototype. So that's what we're going to refer to it as. But I'm going to go over the specs on this car and the reason that it got that name, the prototype, because it's going to share a lot of the items that we used on Pauline, the 25th anniversary car. And so, other than the fact that this one, the Texas car, the prototype, is actually a 3-link, and Pauline is a independent rear suspension, the cars share a lot. They're both running Coyote engines. This one is a Gen 2 Coyote, where the engine in Pauline is a Gen 3. They're very close. I think they're about 30 numbers, maybe 32 numbers off as far as their chassis numbers. So this one was actually built before the 25th anniversary car. good story. The owner of the 25th anniversary car told me when he ordered the 25th anniversary car, he ordered it with a Gen 2 Coyote. And in the process of Factory 5 putting all his kit together, sometime during that process between the time he ordered and the time they went to ship it, they ran out of Gen 2 Coyote engines. And so he ended up with a Gen 3. I think there was a little bit of extra cost involved, but regardless, he ended up with a Gen 3. Well, this car has a Gen 2 Coyote that goes along with it. Now, both of the cars have a TKO 500, 600. I don't know which. I've got to look on the order form to see what transmission this was delivered with. I believe the transmission in the 25th anniversary car is a TKO 500, but I could be wrong. So, very similar options on the car. Of course, they're both complete kits. Since the 25th anniversary car was a 25th anniversary car, it came with the 25th anniversary Willwood disc brake package. This one has the same brake package, but in red. And it obviously doesn't say 25th anniversary on it. The prototype here is going to run the Coney Reds, which are the single adjustable. And yes, they are adjustable. I've gone over this in previous videos. Before you put your red Coneys together, if you pop the black cap on the top off, there is a chrome button. And if you depress that button as you turn the actual stem of the shock while holding the shock body, there are 4 clicks of adjustment in these. And that is just for rebound. It's not for compression, it's just for rebound. So they are adjustable. The shocks on the 25th anniversary car, however, are the dual adjustable Coneys, and they are the silver Coneys. So you can tell there's a little bit of difference there. We're going to be using those same damn seat adjusters in this one that we did on the others, but I'll tell you, I've learned a lesson between the ones that I did in the 25th anniversary car and this. I'm just going to pre-fit these without actually ever putting the seats in, or bolting the seats in, because the lesson we learned is that with the seat heaters, you have to feed that seat heater bottom cushion cord through the seat back, and you simply can't do that with the seats bolted in. You have to do that ahead of time, and then with the seat cushion kind of pulled over to the side, then you have to mount the seat to the seat base. It's a royal pain in the ass, but you know, this is what we do. You know, when customers want something, you know, it's their car. We're going to do everything we can in order to satisfy everything that's on their wish list. So we got the car with a large majority of the panels already powder coated, but not all. And some of them we're not going to powder coat. For instance, we're not going to powder coat the cockpit floor and tunnel side aluminum. It just doesn't make sense. All those panels are hidden from view. You can't see them unless you're under the car, so it just doesn't make sense. Now, we did, since they weren't previously powder coated, I sent the side pieces here of the cockpit, so on each side, and the back to the powder coater the last time I went there. And we got those powder coated the same gloss black that the owner had powder coated all of the panels for the front. So he had the F panels powder coated gloss black, the firewall, all of the footbox aluminum was powder coated the black, but he had forgotten this lower firewall piece right here. And the firewall extension, I think. I think I took both of those pieces and had them powder coated. At the same time, the footbox, the foot pedal assembly was painted black, and so I went ahead and I took all these pieces in and I had them powder coated because I know that the powder coats, long term anyway, is going to hold up a lot better. We have been ordering some parts here and there. So when we do any of the Mark 4s with the Willwood pedal box, or even a Mark 3 with the Willwood pedal box, they use a very inexpensive, you know, I don't know what the brand is, it's probably Dorman or one of those. plunger switch for both the brake pedal and the clutch. On the brake pedal, it's for the brake lights. On the clutch, it's for the safety switch. And they have a terrible reliability issue. So we had the last Texas car here, Ed and Kathy's, and both of those switches gave out before the build was ever delivered to the customer. So the brake lights weren't working one day. I sourced it to that switch, replaced it. Luckily, I ordered 2 of the switches at the same time. I think I ordered them from Rock Auto. And so when the other one went, I had to crawl back into the foot box and replace the one for the clutch as well. Because I think about halfway through the build, after the first start, is when we started noticing some intermittent issues with that switch. Oh no, it was when we took it to paint. We took it to paint, and as I tried to start the car to roll it back into the trailer after we had dropped the body off at Jeff's, the car wouldn't start. And so what Jeff and I did was we took the wires loose, we jammed them in like a piece of sheet metal to jumper it, and then I loaded the car up. And so I changed that other switch out when it was here at the shop. So what we did on this one is preemptively, we only need one here. So there was one for the brake and there was one for the clutch. I have those here, but we only need one, just like on the 25th anniversary car, and we only need that for the brake. Because the Ford Coyote control pack has its own clutch switch for both the Gen 2 and the Gen 3. I can't remember if the Gen 1 had one or not. I don't think it did, if I'm thinking back, because I don't remember having to put one on either of the 2 cars that we did that had Gen 1 engines. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember having to do it for the Gen 1s. But so this one is going to have a switch that will mount on the foot box, or it'll actually mount on the clutch quadrant for the Ford control pack, and that will depress when you push the clutch pedal down and allow the vehicle to start. So we ordered that, and I've got it here. I ordered that, and we've got it here. I've got to bill the customer for that. The other thing that we ordered, and this was just probably a week or so ago, because I was going through some other paperwork for the 25th anniversary car, compiling stuff for the owner, and saw that we use the same fuel system, the fuel delivery system on this that we're using for the prototype over there. And that stock style hanger that is provided in the Ford control pack or the Factory 5 EFI kit really isn't up to the task. It does have a 3/8 supply, but it only has a 1/4 inch return. Now, if you use the provided braided hoses from Factory 5, which I'm not really comfortable with, because now you're running these flexible hoses down the side of the chassis, so you'd have to support it like every 6 or 8 inches so it wouldn't droop down. Has a fitting on there for that hanger, but again, it's only 1/4 inch return. So what we did is, just like we've done on most of the builds that we've done here in the past 4 or 5 years, anything that has EFI, we just order a hanger from Chris over at Pro-M. And if you haven't seen one of these hangers, they have a 3/8 supply and they have a 3/8 return. And there are already male ANs welded or brazed on the end of the terminals. And the return actually goes all the way down to the bottom of the tank. So you don't have a situation with aeration like you would with a stock style hanger, where it dumps the fuel at the top of the tank, and as it falls into the tank, especially if the tank isn't full, that gasoline aerates around the pickup, and then you'll start getting air in the fuel system. And trust me, Coyotes do not like air in the system. So even though, like on the Gen 3, where we have a secondary direct fuel high pressure pump, getting air in there is just not a good idea. The Gen 2 doesn't have that direct injection on it, but still, air in your fuel line is not a good idea. And then the fact that we're running a 3/8 line to the back will help, so that we'll have less of a chance of getting any fuel starvation or vapor lock. You can see the back of the F350 workbench here is getting full of parts again. We're trying our best to keep them separated. I've got the 25th anniversary car parts over here, and over here on this side of the truck, I've got the parts for the prototype. So the first thing that we're probably going to do on the prototype over here is we're going to do the fuel tank. I'm not going to jump in and start doing the panels right away. Now, keep in mind, I've still got probably a week's worth of work left on the 25th anniversary car. As I'm filming this right now, I'm in the midst of getting the wiper assembly all squared away on that. And I'm not rushing through it because I think I say this in the video that I'm working on for that car. I'm spreading the misery out over many nights because I just do not like doing that. You have to cut the tubes, and you can watch that video. Anyways, so the first thing that we're going to do on this car is the fuel tank, the fuel pump, and then the fuel sending unit. And we'll actually put the tank into the back of the car. And I think I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to dedicate an entire video just to putting the fuel tank in. The reason is I've been seeing a lot of questions and complaints about the fuel tank cover, and the fuel tank support straps, which actually hold the tank in place. And everybody complains that they don't fit. They do fit. They're just really tight. They're designed for a Mustang, and the Mustang uses bolts that go into captured nuts inside the chassis of the Mustang, but the bolts are about 4 inches long. Factory 5 only supplies bolts that are about 2.5 inches long, and so when you go to strap this in, there's just not enough bolt to get started so that you can get the strap tightened down to where it needs to be. So I'm going to show you exactly what to do, and you are going to have to rob another bolt out of a different part of your kit in order to get it in there temporarily. Once it's in, though, you can back that bolt out and actually put it in the bolt that it's designed to use. And I'm going to make sure that we go ahead and show you where to fold your flaps down so the tank sits in there properly, and to put the actual bumpers that go in the bottom of the frame members that a lot of people forget about or don't read need to go in there before the fuel tank is put in place. Then by that time, the 25th anniversary car should be on its way home. We'll get this one up on the lift, and we'll start working on some of the panels. In the meantime, we'll probably have pulled out the motor and the trans. I do have the engine stand that the car was shipped on. The owner brought that out. He brought it here disassembled. I just assembled this the other night. I've got it ready to go. It's kind of in the way right now, but I think I'm going to find another spot for it. I may throw that in the restroom or a spot out of the way for now, just so that it's ready to go when we pull this thing out. I just don't have room in the shop with the two cars being stacked in front of one another to put that engine anywhere. If you remember, during Michael's build, I had the engine for the 25th anniversary car sitting over here next to the dually, and it made getting through here a little bit difficult, and I had to keep going around the back of the truck if I needed anything from the bench or over in the other toolboxes. So I want to see if I can't not go through that this time. So I think that'll give you a good overview on this car that we're going to be working on here shortly, and which direction we're headed on it. As always, if you're enjoying the content here, please do the like, the share, the subscribe, all that good stuff. If you have questions or comments, put them in the comments and we'll do our best to respond to them. We'll see you guys all next time. Have a great day.